What is up, guys? Welcome to another Under Siege video. This is Fevron from eSports, and as you can see, we are getting ready to continue our series with a new operator from the Rainbow Six Siege game. It is, of course, going to be a smoke this week. Now, if you did miss the first video, which was Hibana, brought to you by Team Manager Protax, you can do so by clicking on the icon on screen somewhere at the moment or in the description below. Uh, Now, as I said, we're going to be taking a look at Smoke this week. Now, Smoke is going to be our first defensive operator that we're actually going to be taking a look at. And as always, we're going to take a look at his special ability later on in the video, but for now we're going to take a look at the loadout, different setups for playing Smoke, as well as his visual content that is currently available. Now, Smoke is, of course, from the British SAS. As I said, he is a defensive operator. His special ability is called the Compound Z8 Grenade, which is a toxic grenade. He has 3 of them, and as I said, we'll show you that later on in the video, how to best utilize that. Of course, if you want to learn everything to actually do with Smoke and how to play him, what his weaknesses are, best maps, and things like that, this week we actually have joining us one of our pro players. It is ENCE. He is going to be giving you the in-depth look for Smoke. So if you want to check that out, make sure you do so in the link in the description, and he will be able to give you a full rundown on the operator. Now let's take a look at the loadout for Smoke. As you can see here, there is, as always, a couple of different things about Smoke this time. Smoke's a bit unusual because you'll find people that play him one way and you'll find people that play him another way. Now, for his 2 primary weapons, you have the submachine gun, which is the FMG-9, is a 9mm rifle. For some reason, I've lost audio. Not entirely sure why, but or it's not that loud even. But whatever. So the FMG-9, there we go. It's back. You have basically a couple of attachments, as always. The sights for the weapon. There's very limited sights for this one. You don't get like the ACOG or anything like that. You basically just have the choice of red dot and reflex. Now, this is a personal preference choice. There is no difference in which one you use whatsoever. Now, a lot of people will lean towards the reflex because of it gives a little bit more visual whenever zoomed in, sort of like around the shape of it. But red dot's not that much worse. Like, it's just a personal preference for which one you actually will use for that. And now for the barrel, you have 3 options. The suppressor, which, you know, for takes away a little damage but silences the weapon. Then you have the flash hider and the muzzle brake. Of course, with the flash hider, it gives you that small burst recoil. The muzzle brake for a single shot. Naturally, a lot of people will probably play with the flash hider because of the small burst recoil. But that is if you even play with the FMG. Underbarrel, of course, is only the laser, not very useful. I mean, you can use it if you want. It does help that hip fire accuracy, but as I've mentioned before, it does sort of give away your position, as the laser does shine in walls and stuff, which is why I tend to not use it. Visual customization, of course, you have all the different weapon skins for the FMG. Now, it is, of course, this is an operator that has been around for a while, so he does have a lot more visual customization compared to some of the newer ones, and charms, of course, then for the weapon. Now, one of the unusual things for Smoke is that he actually will prioritize using the shotgun over the FMG. The reason for this being is because Smoke is not a roamer. He is going to be anchored, what we call an anchor. He will basically just sit on the bomb sites almost the entire time. The reason for that is because of his unique ability, the smoke grenades, and how to utilize them best. So the reason, and another reason, is because he actually has a good secondary weapon, which we'll talk about in a second. So you'll find that a lot of people are just going to play with the shotgun, because as you're going to be anchored on the web or on the site, you will have a lot of entry points from windows, doors, drop downs. So the shotgun, up close and personal, is going to be a preferred weapon. Now, the shotgun, the M5, is. I'm not entirely sure if all shotguns in the game have the ability to attach a sight to it, but this one does. Once again, it's a personal preference. There's no range like the ACOG provides. It's all just a one times dot sight, so you can choose red dot, reflex, holographic. Once again, a lot of people probably going to lean towards that reflex sight for the shotgun. Underbarrel, once again, laser, but really, really not that relevant for the shotgun, due to the fact that you're going to be sort of hitting a general area with the shotgun as opposed to more accurate firing. So the laser can be used, but once again, not useful whatsoever. Once again, as well, visual customization, weapon skins, and the charms available for the shotgun. Now, as I said, not just because you get to play a lot of close range combat with smoke, which is why the shotgun is preferred, but also due to the fact that he is one of the few operators that has something other than a pistol for his secondary weapon. Now, the secondary weapons have a pistol, of course, which is the P226. And now if we take a quick look, of course, the barrels, all you have is the suppressor and the muzzle brake, because, it is only just a single fire weapon. Almost irrelevant, because if you're going to be using the shotgun, you're not going to be using the pistol for definite. You will be using the other secondary weapon, which is the SMG-11. It's a machine pistol. Now, as you can see here, the difference is that it has a lot less damage, but a much higher fire rate. And because you're going to be using the shotgun, pairing it up with the SMG makes a lot more sense. So let's take a look at that. Once again, very limited in its sights, no ACOG. It is just going to be red dot, holographic, or reflex, which means it's personal preference as to which one you want to use. Now the barrels are a little different, however, because you get the suppressor for the silence, you get the flash hider for small burst recoil, and then you get the commutator for rapid firing. However, you get an additional barrel, which is the extended barrel, and this actually helps with a longer distance range. So it increases your range, but as you can see, it doesn't change anything else about it. The recoil pattern, not much different. All it does is add that little extra range you can actually fight with. So it can help a little bit with different positioning. If you're anchored in, say, bomb site A, and holding there with your smokes and your shotguns, and an enemy pushes in onto bomb site B, extended barrel can help with that. Fighting from site to site if they're not that close. So this is one of the few that weapons that does actually have an additional barrel that is actually quite useful. Grips, there is only the vertical grip, which reduces the recoil. You can see it reduces it by quite a bit, so that is a must-have on the SMG. Underbarrel, once again, laser relevant. And then you get your weapon skins and charms as well. Now, the gadget, both actually are useful, and it all depends on what you play. Now, if you choose to play with the FMG, pistol, or whatever, you kind of maybe want to take the impact grenade, because that helps because you're going to be anchored on the sites. Being able to get back and forth between different sites is very important. So using an impact grenade to open up the wall so you can see in between the different sites is important. However, if you're going the way that most especially the higher up pro players will go, which is the shotgun, the SMG. The barbed wire is going to be customization not available for that. Oh yeah, okay. Psh, I didn't know what was happening there. Um, the reason being for that is because if you're using the shotgun, you don't need the impact grenade in order to open up the walls. The shotgun will do that for you. You can just pop off a couple of shots, create some uh, uh, transition holes between the sites, as well as some other different kinds of peek holes. So irrelevant to have the grenade for that reason. The gadget barbed wire will allow you to set it down in certain locations, which will help slow enemies as they push onto the site, which will then also work in tandem with your smoke grenades as well, doing a lot of damage. So if you're going to be running the typical setup, shotgun, SMG, and the barbed wire is going to be the most ideal. But that's not to say that the FMG, an impact grenade, will be terrible. If that is your personal style of play, that you just prefer to use these higher fire rate weapons, then it's possible. But as I said, shotgun, SMG, and barbed wire will be the way to go for smoke. Now, as I said, he is a operator that has been around a while, so there's a lot more different customization for him available. Some pretty cool headgears, as well as, of course, the uniforms, of which one has just come with Blood Orchid, maybe? Yes, there it is. So a new one came with the Blood Orchid expansion. And that is it for Smoke. Now we are going to be taking a look at his unique ability, which is the Smoke Grenade. So we will jump on over, take a look at that. Alright guys, welcome to the next part of the video. As you can see, we're just getting ready to show you Smoke's unique ability, which is the compound grenade. Of course, we are going to be defensive, as he is a defender. We're going to be using the training room and the garage as the example, as always, which actually can be useful for Smoke. Now, as we said, I am running the typical setup of the shotgun, SMG, and then the barbed wire. Now, yeah, so a good reason for not having the grenades and then having the shotgun instead is exactly this reason. Like, this opens them up so much easier compared to what, the grenade will open up a good sized hole, but only 2 of them. At least with this, you can create a lot more transition holes as well as peek holes with this. So now, the reason why we're using the guards is a good example here. So if you're playing down here and you have an enemy that's like breaching in here, Smoke can actually be very, very useful. Now, his unique ability has 3 charges, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. Basically, when you use one, it'll throw out a little grenade like this, and then you have to press it a second time to detonate. Now, there's a number of things that you should know. We're just going to pick it up again because you shouldn't pre-throw smoke grenades. They can be damaged and then they become absolutely wasted. Each grenade, when detonated, which we will show you now, lasts for 10 seconds. So you can, if you effectively use these grenades, you can basically slow down the enemy team for anywhere between 35 to 45 seconds. And in a round, that is a huge amount of time, especially if you have a team that are waiting until the last minute before trying to do a quick push in, especially through like garage doors or anything. 45 seconds is a hell of a long time. Now, as you've seen, the area that it takes up is quite large. Any enemy that walks into that is going to start taking damage. So it's incredibly useful for holding off. For example, if we open a hole here. So if you have enemies that are trying to push through a breach here and the thing, throwing out your smoke and detonating it, that covers the entire area and is incredibly useful for holding them back. Also incredibly useful against the likes of Monty, who has a shield and can be hard to hit. He will take damage from the smoke. And like I said, with proper time management and hiding in the right places, Smoke can be incredibly useful for holding off a team pushing in, even on his own. Uh, there are a number of things that you need to learn about the smokes, the timings, the positionings, and things like that. As I said, Bonsi, our Rainbow Six Pro player, has given an in-depth guide on how to best utilize smoke, how to get the grenades out at the right time, where to position. You can check that out by clicking on the description link in the description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, guys, to keep up to date with all the videos in the series, as well as all the other videos from our other teams. Hit us up at ENCE eSports on social medias, and we will see you guys in the next video.